Finch, Day 9. By Monday morning, it's clear the 80s Finch has got to go. For one thing, the picture of him in the Bartlett dirt is not flattering. He looks unnervingly wholesome. I suspect he's a goody-good. What with all the not smoking and vegetarianism and turned-up collars. And for two, he just doesn't feel right to me. He's the kind of guy who's probably great with teachers and pop quizzes and who actually doesn't mind driving his mom's Saturn. But I don't trust him not to screw things up with girls. More specifically, I don't trust him to get anywhere with Violet Markey. I met Charlie at Goodwill during third period. There's one down by the train station in an area that used to be nothing but abandoned, burned out factories and graffiti. Now it's been regentrified, which means it's got a new coat of paint and someone decided to pay attention to it. Charlie brings Brenda for fashion backup, even though nothing she wears ever matches, something she swears she does on purpose. While Charlie talks up one of the salesgirls, Bren follows me from rack to rack yawning. She flips half-heartedly through hangers of leather jackets. What exactly are we looking for? I say I need to get regentified. She yawns again without covering her mouth, and I can see her fillings. Late night? She grins, bright pink lips spreading wide. Amanda Monk had a party Saturday night. I made out with Gabe Romero. In addition to being Amanda's boyfriend, Romer is the biggest prick in school. For some reason, Bren has a thing for him, has had a thing for him since freshman year. Will he remember it? Her grin fades a little. He was pretty wasted, but I left one of these in his pocket. She holds up a hand and waves her fingers. One of her blue plastic fingernails is missing, and just in case, my nose ring. I thought you looked different today. That's just the glow. She's more awake now. She claps her hands together and rubs them all mad scientist-like. So what are we looking for? I don't know. Something less squeaky clean, and maybe a little sexier. I'm done with the 80s. She frowns. Is this about what's her name? The skinny chick? Violet Markey, and she's not skinny. She has hips. And a sweet, sweet ass, Charlie says. Charlie has joined us now. No, Brennan is shaking her head so hard and fast it looks as if she's having a seizure. You don't dress to please a girl, especially not a girl like that. You dress to please yourself. If she doesn't like you for you, then you don't need her. All of this would be fine if I knew exactly who me for me was. She goes on. This is the girl with the blog, the one that actress Gemina Sterling likes? The one who saved her crazy classmate from jumping? Well, screw her and her skinny, skinny ass. Bren hates all girls who aren't at least a size 12. As she rattles on about Violet and Gemma Sterling, about the Bartlett dirt, I don't say anything else. And I suddenly don't want Bren or Charlie to talk about Violet, because I want to keep her to myself, like the Christmas when I was 8, back when Christmases were still good. And I got my first guitar, which I named No Trespassing, as in no one could touch her but me. Finally, though, I have no choice but to interrupt Bren. She was in that accident last April with her sister, the one where they drove off the A Street Bridge. Oh my god, that was her? Her sister was a senior. Shit. Bren cradles her chin in her hand and taps it. You know, maybe you should play it a little safer. Her voice is softer. Think Ryan Cross. You see how he dresses. Maybe we should go to Old Navy or American Eagle, or better yet, to Abercrombie over in Dayton. Charlie says to Brenda, she's never going to go for him. Doesn't matter what he wears. No offense, man. None taken, and fuck Ryan Cross. I use that word for the first time in my life. It feels so liberating that I suddenly feel like running around the store. Fuck him. I decide the new Finch swears whenever and however he wants to. He's the kind of Finch who would stand on a building and think about jumping just because nothing scares him. He is seriously badass. In that case, Charlie yanks a jacket off its hanger and holds it up. It's pretty badass too, all scuffed and worn out leather, like something Keith Richards might have worn way, way back in the day. It's pretty much the coolest jacket I've ever seen. I'm pulling it on as Bren sighs, walks away, and comes strolling back with a giant pair of black Beatles boots. They're size 14, she says, but the way you grow, you'll fill them out by Friday. By lunch, I'm starting to dig Badass Finch. For one thing, girls seem to like him. A cute underclassman actually stops me in the hall and asks if I need help finding my way. She must be a freshman, because it's clear she has no idea who I am. When she wants to know if I'm from London, I say cheers and A-up and bangers and mash in what I think is a pretty convincing accent. She alternatively giggles and flips her hair as she guides me to the cafeteria. Because BHS has some 2,000 students, they have us divided into 3 different lunch periods. Brenda skips class today to eat with Charlie and I greet them with a cheerio and hello, mates, and you're the dog's bollocks and such. Just blinks at me and then blinks at Charlie. Please tell me he's not British. He shrugs and keeps eating. I spend the rest of lunch hour talking to them about my favorite spots back home. Honest John's, Rough Trade East, and out on the floor. The record shops I hung out in, and tell them about my mean but sexy Irish girlfriend, Fiona, and my best blokes, Tam and Nats. By the time lunch is through, I've created a universe I can see down to the last detail. The Sex Pistols and Joy Division posters on my wall, the fags I smoke out in the window of the flat Fiona I share, the nights spent playing music at the Hope and Anchor and Half Moon, the days devoted to cutting records at Abbey Road Studios. When the bell rings and Charlie says, "Let's go, you Todger," I feel homesick for this London I left behind. Yes, sir. As I walk through the halls, there's no telling what badass British Finch might do. Take over the school, take over the town, take over the world. It would be a world of compassion, of neighbor-loving neighbor, of student-loving student, or at least treating one another with respect. No judgments, no name-calling, no more, no more, no more. By the time I get to U.S. geography, I've almost convinced myself this world exists, until I see Ryan Cross, all gold, flowing, his hand on the back of Violet's chair as if he's the host at the Macaroni Grill. He is smiling at her and talking, and she is smiling at him with her mouth closed. Gray-green eyes wide and serious behind her glasses, and just like that, I am Indiana-born Theodore Finch in a pair of second-hand boots. Guys like Ryan Cross have a way of reminding you who you are, even when you don't want to remember. As I try to catch Violet's eye, she's too busy nodding and listening to Ryan. And then Romer is there, and Amanda Monk, who fixes me with a death glare and snaps, "What are you looking at?" Then Violet is swallowed by them, so all I can do is stare in the direction of where she once was. Mr. Black wheezes to the front of the room as the bell rings, and asks if anyone has questions about the project. Hands go up, and one by one he addresses the concerns. Get out there and see your state. Go to museums and parks and historic sites. Get yourselves some culture, so that when you do leave, you can take it with you. In my very best British, I say, but I thought you can't take it with you. Violet laughs. She is the only one. As soon as she does, she turns away from everyone and stares at the wall beside her right shoulder. When the bell rings, I walk past Ryan Cross and Romer and Amanda until I'm standing so close to Violet that I can smell her flower shampoo. The thing about Badass Finch is that guys like Ryan Cross don't intimidate him for long. Amanda says, "Can we help you?" in her nasally little girl voice. In my regular non-British accent, I say to Violet, "It's time to start wandering." Where? Her eyes are cold and a little wary, as if she's afraid I might out her right here, right now. Have you been to Hoosier Hill? No. It's the highest point in the state. I've heard. I thought you might like it, unless you have a fear of heights. I cock my head. Her face goes blank, and then she recovers, the corners of her perfect mouth turning up in a perfect fake smile. No, I'm okay with them. She saved you from jumping off that ledge, didn't she? This is Amanda. This is from Amanda. She waves her phone where I can just make out the headline from the Bartlett Dirt. Romer mumbles, "Maybe you should go back up there and try again." And miss the opportunity to see Indiana? No thanks. Their eyes bore into me as I look at Violet. Let's go. Right now? No time like the present and all that. You of all people should know we're only guaranteed right now. Romer says, "Hey asshole, why don't you ask her boyfriend?" I say to Romer, "Because I'm not interested in Ryan, I'm interested in Violet." I say to Ryan, "It's not a date, man, it's a project." "He's not my boyfriend," Violet says, and Ryan looks so hurt that I almost feel bad for him, except that it's impossible to feel bad for a guy like him. I can't skip class. Why not? Because I'm not a delinquent. Her tone is clear. Not like you. And I tell myself she's only putting it on for the crowd. I'll wait for you in the parking lot after school. On the way out, I pause. Come, I say. Come. It might be my imagination, but she almost smiles. Freak, I hear Amanda mutter as I walk out. I accidentally whack my elbow against the doorframe, and for good luck, whack the other.